Now we're going to discuss this further with Chris Field. He's the Perry L. McCarthy Director of the Stanford Woods Institute for the Environment and the Melvin and Joan Lane Professor for Interdisciplinary Environmental Studies at Stanford University and joins us from Stanford, California. Chris, thank you so much for your time. Now,
Thank
Los
you.
Angeles and the California area has experienced several destructive wildfires over the last few years. Seasonal fires are fairly normal there, but how much impact has the climate crisis had on the deadly blazes that we're witnessing today?
Well, you're right. California is an area that has always had fires, but the risk from fires has really been supercharged by recent experience with climate change. For about the last 10 years, California has just been in a fundamentally different fire regime where we face the risk of these explosive, catastrophic fires like we're seeing in the Los Angeles area today.
Chris, there's been a lot of criticism of California state officials because there hasn't been enough water sources available, particularly for these fires that we've seen in areas like Pacific Palisades. The fire hydrants have run dry. Do you think this is a fair criticism of officials there, or is there more to it?
Well, California has a remarkable set of emergency professionals on the fire crews and police, and they're doing a really fabulous job in trying to contain these fires. And I think everybody has had the experience in their own home. If you turn on the tap in the kitchen and you also turn on the tap in the bathroom and the outside tap, the water pressure goes down. And that's the real challenge we face in trying to fight a wildfire with water, is that if all the taps are open, it's hard to have enough pressure in any tap to do anything. And fire trucks often have pumps in order to bring the pressure back up. But the challenge is we don't ever design urban water systems in order to have every fire hydrant open at the same time. Our fire hydrant systems were designed with the idea that there might be one house fire and that would be it. And so it's a problem more with the way cities are designed and with the issue that we face when everything is on fire at once. And there's basically no way that professionals can deal with it. We don't have enough emergency personnel, we don't have enough infrastructure, and we certainly don't have enough water pressure behind the fire hydrants in order to make things work.
Chris, is this not going to just become worse as the rest of the year continues, as climate change doesn't seem to get any better, that now we have to, well, not even now, we should have been doing this a while ago, I would imagine, looking at different ways to prevent the intensity and destructiveness of these fires to mitigate the results of climate change? And how can countries and regions, particularly like the California region, actually go about changing this?
Well, there is a lot we can do to address the growing risk of wildfire, and California and the Southern California especially have taken important steps. But it's also important to remember that these Santa Ana wind events, which typically occur in the fall or winter around this time of the year, present really hard to manage circumstances with very high wind speeds, as your reporter was discussing, very low humidities, and conditions under which a tiny little spark can grow to a devastating wildfire in a very short amount of time. The best kinds of protective measures that can be taken are to increase a defensible space around homes, and CAL FIRE, the state fire agency, has been active in encouraging homeowners, especially those close to the wildland interface, to increase the amount of defensible space. It makes a big difference. Improving home construction so there are less combustible materials. And there are also many California residents who are now taking proactive measures with automatic fire suppression equipment. All of those things can make a difference, but these are very, very challenging circumstances. And the combination of the protective measurements and the qualified professionals who are out there trying to protect lives and property can only do so much. And In the long run, we're going to have to deal with the climate change by reducing the greenhouse gas emissions that are making it warmer and warmer.
Chris Field, really appreciate you breaking that all down for us live there from Stanford in California. Thank you, Chris.